All right. Mitch says that he is good to go and he'll be right here.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, so you look a little bit like you're in a David Lynch film or something. Yeah, or David Fincher movie. There you go. Now now you're a little bit brighter. Maybe it's your computer that has the light on. But how have you been doing, Sammy?
Oh, very well. Very well.
Nice, nice. I've been playing Nova Rally. What is the word? Not very dutifully for the last ever since it launched. Every day I'm in there, I'm racing. I've kind of been in and out of the death race.
Yeah,
because obviously it's very hard to get the rewards, and I see the kind of heroes that win, and I'm like, I have those, but do I really want to burn them? So I have my own strategy right for it, but I bought how many driver's manuals have I bought? Just one, I think, so far. But it's been fun. It's been fun playing Over Rally. I like it. And I know I sent you kind of some suggestions I had for the UI, but while it's just you and me for the moment, how is? I just realized we haven't introduced ourselves. We'll do this after this question, but how's Nova Rally? What's the next big thing you're excited for with Nova Rally? Just give me kind of lowdown on that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a pretty big update coming for Nova Rally in terms of like future vision and content. So I was talking about it on my stream just earlier. So it's just everything's pointing towards that. I think people are excited to see the direction that we're heading in, which is pretty, it's quite a big change, I guess, from what people are used to. A lot of feedback from users, so which is all I'm interested in. It's making it better. I think we got Mitch in the lobby.
Oh yeah, I see him. Thanks. I didn't see him. Didn't see him there. Here we go. Let's get us organized. Oh,
fantastic.
There we go. Now we're
shuffle.
Right.
All right.
Welcome, Mitch. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys as well. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you too. It looks like your hair is a little more on the more rebellious streak there. Kind of
trying to look young and hide away from my receding hairline. It's fine.
And I know the feeling. Just keep the headset on. You can't tell.
Exactly.
But you could always be like meet Kevin. He was running for governor, right? And now after the governor running thing was over for California, he's now dyed his hair like bright green. And I'm just like, this was a guy who was like, I think he was like he was the furthest runner up for the Democrats to replace Gavin Newsom in California's governor. And now here he is with just like bright neon hair. And I'm just like, that is so interesting.
That's wild.
Some people like to mix it up. Hey, you're up. You're out here. You're a streamer. I guess you got to keep yourself sane somehow, right?
Definitely.
Well, good to see you, Mitch. I was just talking to Sam real quickly and asking him about Nova Rally and what's up next for Nova Rally. He was saying pretty soon here they were going to release some like updates. I guess how do you say it? Like future updates for the future or something like that.
Yeah, so we got like short-term, medium-term, long-term changes. So it's like a big future vision thing. It's like a good bedtime reading. It'll take a long time to digest everything. Probably need a few PhDs. So I'm going to hopefully summarize it because when you change everything like that, I would just say as like you guys are obviously in a bit further behind, I guess, in terms of like the journey of designing things. And I've made mistakes, and now it's time to rectify the mistakes. So, in first I didn't think that there were mistakes, and I was like, no, the people are wrong. And I've looked into what they're saying, and I've looked into the data, and they are right. And it's about doing it in a way where you can pivot easily based on user feedback. So that's it's quite an important process, and I hope I don't piss anyone off doing it, basically. But I feel people are mostly, I think, excited at the moment, but I'm a bit nervous, obviously, when you make changes to a game that has it's doing well. It has some flaws that people have identified. I hope by trying to fix the flaws, I don't ruin what I've already created. That's always the balance. And how do you do that? But so my advice to you guys is just don't make any mistakes. See?
Oh yeah.
Just think of everything, bitch.
No problem.
Like, have you thought of everything yet?
It's in
just
the bag.
think of every single thing, and then just Get it
Yep.
all done ahead of time. It's
Or
easy.
invent a time machine so you can go back in time and tell your past self what the mistakes are in the future, so you don't know, you don't forget them.
Yeah, it's
no,
like
my
maybe the economy doesn't need 200,000 NFTs. Maybe the economy doesn't need 50,000 shards. Maybe that is a bit too many at the start of a game, and you should build up slower than that. Maybe these are some of the things. But
yeah, I was something wondering about that. Like, wonder what Nova Rally CPU and RAM usage is like with all of these shards and things. But yeah, I think it's okay, right? Like to have these games progress, because we've never done this before. Like this has never been done in the history of the world at all. We've never had blockchain technology to use with games, and there's a lot of things you do on a blockchain that can't be taken back. Like I made like a test. What was it? A test pack for our drop, and I didn't realize that test drop was going to be basically put on a web page on Nifty Blocks where anybody could see it and grab it. And so when I created it, it got taken, and I was like, what happened? Where'd the test pack go? And it didn't even have anything in it. It has like an image that says like test card. That's what's inside that one back. But somebody has it now, and it's like I can't take that back. I can't like just go, oh, I'm gonna take that back from you. I can, he can send it to me, he can sell it, he can do all kinds of things, and with it, and it's gonna show up. Like if he tries to sell it, it's gonna show up inside of our collection thing. It's gonna be like test pack, and people are gonna be like, what the hell's that?
Yeah.
And so, but you can't, some things you can take back and some things you can. Like I think actually it was Farmer's World who just had a massive bug that showed up where people were able to mint for free. Did you hear about this? They were able to mint for free these baby calves. Flooded the market, like almost double that was supposed to be allowed. But I was surprised how well they handled it, and they handled it quickly. It was almost envious. Like a couple days later, I logged into the game and it was like, oh, I'm gonna take the baby calves that you bought off the market because I bought 2, and then we're just gonna give you wax in exchange. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I was really surprised how quickly they did it. It wasn't like a week or 2 later. Apparently they have capable, programmers on their team because they're able to do things like that very quickly. But so there's some things I think we can do and take back, and there's some things we can't. But I think in the end, it's usually kind of a matter of resourcefulness. I think with most things in the world, did you screw up? Well, how resourceful are you? Can you figure the problem out? And there are plenty of people who are like, oh no, we're screwed. Game over. We're done. And then there are other smarter people who are like, well, okay, what next? Like what can we do? How can we solve the problem? And it's those people who typically, create, I think, great things.
Yeah, and also sometimes the technology moves on. I mean, have you guys seen the new filtering thing that's come out for Atomic Hub? You can drill down deeply now into mutable and immutable data and make your own custom filters, do it however you want. Now, if you could have done that when I was designing Nova Rally, I don't think I would have NFTs in different leagues that were separate templates, but I've got 4 times the number of templates than I originally would have wanted. But right. I did that because I wasn't sure. I never wanted people to have to not know what league NFT they were buying. So I was like, well, I don't know when this feature is going to come, so I'll design it like this. And now, new people creating stuff, they don't need to do that. So it also, the thing is Atomic Hub offer new features like that, and that's a huge thing now. So I can't wait to have a play with that and really nail down the filtering for my collection. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to have a play with it.
No, I didn't know that. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, you're the one who first told me how to kind of sort through those things and make sense of them. Before we go any further, I don't think we've actually introduced ourselves. We're almost like 9 minutes into the stream yet, so let's do that really quickly. The people are like, oh, who are these people talking? They seem cool. I don't know who they are. Hey, everybody. So I am Robert Chusardi. I'm the creator of Blockchain Kingdoms and Metasource Cards, and Crypto Castles. We have a website, blockchainkingdoms.com. Links for all of our projects are at the bottom of this YouTube video. Yeah, so I'm a wax developer, and I have a history. I started out doing the Disney.com homepage way back in the day, like early 2000s. Since then, I've worked in movies. I also created a game called Immortal Soul Star Crusade. It's on it was on Flash, but now Flash is kind of defunct. But yeah, it's enough about me. How about we go to the left here? How about you, Mitch? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mitch Zamara. I'm the lead designer on Million on Mars Land Rush. We're a play-to-earn blockchain game also launching on Wax next month. Currently, we have a beta demo version of the game that you can play right now. If you jump into our Discord, you can go to milliononmars.com/Discord and get an invite badge to come check it out. Professionally, I've been in the game industry for over 12 years. I've been a professional game designer, worked in free-to-play for a long time, and I finally made the transition this year to jump into play to earn and make blockchain games full time. And I am just super, super excited to be part of this space. I'm really, really passionate about Wax, about play to earn, and about all the projects that are in this space. And yeah, I just love talking about all this stuff for sure.
Me too. Me too. Well, thank you for joining us, Mitch. And Sammy, how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sammy Snake, aka Sam Stottard. I'm a Twitch streamer, I guess, blockchain developer. Have my own project, Nova Rally, which is a play-to-earn racing simulation game on Wax. Killer of NFTs, killers of hopes and dreams. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just all about building the best game possible. I don't give two shits about money or anything else. I just dedicate all of my time to how can I make Nova Rally the best blockchain game on any blockchain, and that's the goal. And I'm good. And people join me on the journey. They can watch my stream and hear me talk openly about all my fuck ups and all my successes along the way, and that's part of the fun.
For sure.
Yeah, you do crush my dreams when it comes to winning the death rally. Every time we're like, no!
Listen, I can't win.
Driver's dead,
either.
Car burned. Well, not burned, but it's like flaming and needs to be put out and put back in again. But yeah, it is hard. The death rally, winning the death rally is legit hard. Cool. So we were talking about Nova Rally for a bit. Staking for our cards goes live at the end of the month. But how about you, Mitch? You want to talk about your project? I know you were saying that there's some cool things coming up here for Million on Mars here pretty soon. If you can say anything about that.
Yeah, we got a couple of interesting updates that we've got going on this last week. So we just started rolling out our collector patch campaign where you can get limited edition NFT patches that you can sort of collect. They'll be shown off eventually inside of the game, inside of your profile as well. Each of these are designed as like a really simple sort of stepped whitelist process that doesn't cost anything. Really just you sign up for our website, you get one, you join our Discord and get the Wax verification role just by using Honeycomb. You get the other one and you're pretty much good to go to get everything else along the way. We're going to be doing a lot of drops and other giveaways leading up into our launch next month. And just, if you basically want to get the metaglyph patch, that's the most important thing. Which is the logo that you see right here. It looks like that. Yeah. If you get that patch, you pretty much have the most important piece for our entire campaign. But we've got other things that are going to hopefully start rolling out later on this week that we're really, really excited about. In addition to that, the game itself has had a ton of user experience improvements. We've made a bunch of improvements to the UI, the flow of the game. I rolled out a big balance pass last week, and hopefully by the end of this week, we're going to be able to show off and roll out our market order system. So players are going to be able to finally start buying and selling items and creating buy and sell orders for resources and things that they need. We're really going to start to see the player-owned economy develop after that, and then we'll be in a really good position to finish out our work order system and then sort of get ready for launch in the coming weeks.
Wow. So to get the metaglyph badge that gets you the whitelist into, I guess, future drops, in order to get that, you have to go on your Discord and you have to connect your wallet to your Discord account. That's correct. Using the Honeycomb thing. Okay.
Yeah. We're using Honeycomb. We want to basically our goal is to prevent people from mass creating accounts. We don't want to do a referral invite system or anything that we're not trying to create a negative feeling. We want people to really be in our Discord for the right reason. We want people to be verified so that we know that they're actually on Wax, so that we can be confident to share drops with those people on our whitelist. And then for our actual the mailing letter NFT, you just have to go to app.milliononmars.com, use your email address, connect your wallet, and then we're going to update that whitelist every day, and you'll be able to collect that patch.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. And yeah, I've been kind of cautious about the whole whitelist thing too. And we did ours. We just made it public. And I know Samly just created a form for whitelisting because he thinks legally he has to do that. He has to essentially have a field questionnaire in order to whitelist people. And I live in, we're a United States company. So I do know there is a law where like you can't there's just under certain circumstances, you can't give like paid access. You can't you can't have like people basically pay to have pay to get pre-access to crypto, and whether or not that whether or not that is also in regards to NFTs, I don't know. So it's like you need a cryptocurrency license to be to be able to do all kinds of things legally with crypto. And I don't know of any blockchain gaming companies right now that do have that license. So I think actually, yeah, like whitelisting, the way whitelisting is done, especially for like American or Canadian based companies, probably need to be very careful with the way that is done. It looks like Sammy's kind of being careful as well with that process.
Yeah, but that's a controversial topic, though, the whitelisting, because if I'm collecting people's addresses, which people hate. But it's just such a difficult tightrope to walk, because I really I think in the US you guys are actually okay. I think the laws are a little bit different there when it comes to selling digital services, but in the UK they're pretty mental. So my company's in the UK and I have to adhere to this.
And you have GDPR on top of that. Just makes it even more delightful, considering how do you delete personal records of information that are literally on the blockchain? You can't, right? There are certain things that GDPR is not future-proof for in any way, and the blockchain's a great example of that.
Well, if I fill out that form, that's not put on the blockchain, right? That's
no.
Right, right.
That would be mental.
I
would be going straight off to jail if I did that. I'd be just heading down to jail if I did that. They go into a database that's well secured, and then you can request to delete your data anytime, and then boop, just goes away, follows all the guidelines. And it's going to be interesting because we've got a sale coming up, which will be the first sale based on this system. We're going to have an advert on Atomic Hub, and we will see how many people / what their reaction is to asking people to fill in this form. So I would imagine there's going to be a lot of negativity, potentially, but I think this is, in my opinion, this is the new way that things need to be done. In terms of whitelisting, I personally am too scared around what you guys are saying to sell something that would give them access in the future to things. I'm too scared to touch that. Plus, I don't think that it's not something that I prefer. If someone asks me, I just want to I'll give you my information. I'm happy to tell you who I am, and then just let me buy from you. I don't want to post 1 million messages a day in your Discord.
Yep, I agree.
I hate that.
Yeah, we don't do that either. I agree.
So how do you feel about this, right? So we all like to say we don't like the referral link spam, but it clearly works.
I think
every single project that I see do it works brilliantly. And then sometimes I feel like, man, I'm an idiot. I should just go on and just go no morals.
I don't think the referral system is a lack of morals, but it's a different way of creating value for the project and the company. So I think it all kinds of depends on whether or not it's in the spirit of the thing. But yeah, in some cases, I have a lot of referrals for these Gala nodes, and geez, I'm almost making more on the referrals because my referrals have referrals. So just like the other day, I saw my referral go up by 1 point, and I'm like, that's basically $2,000 for me just having done work months ago. Yeah. So, but Gala Games is also growing very, very big, and so one of the things that they do best is marketing. So I think it all kind of depends on the rewards and the spirit of the thing. If everyone kind of feels like they're winning when they share, and also the people who were shared to feel like they're winning, I think that's okay. It's another way of creating value.
I don't know, man. I hate them. I hate so much. Like
Yeah.
I just get
have
all
to
the stuff in my
participate in
inbox.
the referrals. Then that's my, if I don't like it, I ignore it. That's what I do.
know, but sometimes I just feel like my own stubbornness. Imagine if I didn't have any ideals or anything, and I just did things the other. I just like, okay, this other project does it, so it's okay to do it. I feel like you would just get that much better reach. Clearly an effective marketing technique that I recluse myself on because I personally don't agree with it. And whether that generates enough like from people going, you know what, he follows his own ideals, maybe that outweighs the benefit. But I just, sometimes you've got to look at some of these projects that are just like referral. Their sales do well. There's no two ways going about that. They do. Their initial sale is very successful. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on that.
Yeah. Well, did you want to say something, Mitch? You're about to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that overall these kind of campaigns are short-term effective in the way that they're able to pump their community growth. It's really about what their intent is and what their sort of overall goals are. So for me, my perspective is that for the long-term success of a project, you need a really, really, really healthy, strong, and stable community that continues to grow and build over time. And if you're artificially inflating the numbers of your community and pumping people into Discord because their goals are to get there, to level up, to get some whitelist pass, or to refer enough people in order to get on some sort of like pre-sale or other hookup, like then the incentives for those players to stick around or to stick into your community in the long term are not aligned. They don't see, I mean, they're basically only for their own personal gains if they're there to flip an item on Atomic Hub or something like that. It doesn't really build a community or a group of people that really believe in what you're building. And I don't think that it helps with long-term sustainable growth. So if your intent is to build something for the long term that's going to last, then I think that taking those short-term sort of approaches can have longer term ramifications when the time comes. Personally, I think that there's a proper sort of balanced approach to doing referral systems or to build incentivized ways for players to help with the efforts of growing your community. But I think that artificially incentivizing people's motivations is not the exact best approach personally, and that's just because I've seen this in everything I've worked in free-to-play games for so long. Basically, like what you will do is when enough people are spamming your name and your game and your referral links around, is that you poison your own brand, and people will learn to ignore those links and to stop wanting to see what your game is about because they've seen so many people spam it in so many places. It actually hurts the value of your brand and what you're trying to build. If people are organically sharing and promoting and talking about it on their own, that is the best thing you can have. And you want to basically create evangelists that care about your project, like I didn't pay Robert to talk about my project in his Discord. Him and members of his community did it organically. And the same thing with Sammy. Like I don't have to incentivize people to do so because we put ourselves out there. We're very transparent about what we do, and our community believes in what we're building as well, and they evangelize for us. And I think that that's what every project should strive to do, is to build the biggest group of early followers as you can. And there are ways that you can incentivize and create buzz and get people to come check out what you're doing. You can give away lots of things. And I mean, minting NFTs costs so little. So it's so easy to give out something and draw attention and just get it to people to come check you out without having to actually make people feel like they're having to spam and shill and sort of shamelessly promote something instead of something that they care about.
And I think the important thing there too is giving them the ability to receive and give value by sharing it. You have those access badges for Million on Mars. So to me, it seems like that was your way of like, hey, so, we're going to give value to the people who buy the founders tokens, and we're also going to give value to their friends as well. And they give those out. And that kind of creates, an incentive for people to be involved and to share with friends. And it's not just like, hey, get them to come spend money on us, but it's like, hey, come be involved with me. It's a different thing. And we have a user in the chat here. Smart Digital Payment says, stick to your ideals. I've lost money sticking to my ideals also, but always worth it. And I agree. I agree that, I think sticking with your ideals gets you to where you want to be in the long term, and sacrificing your ideals basically gets you short-term gains, but doesn't really get you in the end where you want to be. And I think, you know, there's sacrifice. You make sacrifices either way. But I think, you know, sacrificing your vision can be one of the worst things you can possibly do.
Yeah, I'd rather just stop the whole project than just do what I hate from other projects or what I don't enjoy. This is the only chance you're going to get to put your own stamp on a blockchain game. I don't think I'm going to be making any more than this one. This is it, you know. So you got to do it the right way.
No, it's you're almost set, man. A couple more months, and then you can start to tease out Nova Rally 2, and you'll be all set to just build a whole new mountain that people can start to get excited about. Don't worry about it. You got like a few more months, and then you can be like, okay, Nova Rally 2, let's go. Like,
just got to keep the chain going. No one's allowed off the ride. You just start the cycle again.
A whole new wheelchair, buddy. You buckle up.
It's going to be fully 3D. We don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. You guys see the Free Guy? It's kind of it'll be like that.
Just promise 10 times bigger, right? Like, what could go wrong?
And then ask for a couple of $1 million, like some other projects on Wax at the moment. Just,
I don't know, but
like
just over promise.
Huge sales.
That's what matters.
Huge sales. Yeah. The size of the sales on Wax make my eyes pop out of my head.
I mean, we're in the Q4. We're in the Q4 bull run. Like, that's what everyone is expecting. Wax is performing really, really strong, and especially in the NFT space. Every NFT project seems to be pumping no matter what. What's interesting to me is that the overall sales volume and the amount of money that's transacting on the platform is really, really trending up. But the number of sales that are actually happening compared to the last time this happened back in like the March, April period is way down. Like, there's a lot less stuff selling. It's just selling for a lot more money.
I'm so confused with it though, because it doesn't correlate in my head, because I see every single sale on Wax is doing very well at the moment. But if you look at the stats of that radar for any game, apart from Farmers World, like, the stats are not that impressive. Like, no one is really making like even like 5,000 users a day.
Yeah,
so
well, there's still not a lot of games out there, you know, and one of the biggest new ones, expansion, that's not really playable until next month. And, you know, Million on Mars, Land Rush, same thing, you know, isn't probably going to be, you know, playable on the blockchain for another month or so. So we're still kind of we have more games available like Nova Rally, but as far as like playable things, still very little. A lot of it's still just speculation, dreaming about playing a game, you know, rather than actually being able to play it yet.
Yep.
Yeah. Which actually brings me to one of the first topics I wanted to talk to you guys about, which was this massive crypto and NFT boom that we've been seeing. You know, Bitcoin is now going towards all-time highs. Let me just check, you know, on so it was 62, I think, this morning, 62,000 per Bitcoin. It's now, you know, 61.5, but we had that big bull run over the last week since last time we chatted. And, you know, a lot of cryptos were up, a lot of gaming, NFTs, gaming cryptos, not everything. You know, I kind of tried to look at the whole spectrum. You know, not everything was up, but generally a lot of things were up, and especially the Wax NFTs over the last week. You know, there was some really big ones dropped, Farming Tales, I think, and Expansion just kind of showed up on the scene, got whitelisted, verified. I know Million of Mars just got verified as well, didn't it? You guys just got whitelisted and verified?
We did just get whitelisted and verified this week, finally. We are very, very happy and excited for that. Like,
that makes you guys unicorns. Like, that, I mean, was it? Like, how many projects get verified a month? Is it like 1, 2? Like, it's not many. So now you guys are one of them. And so, yeah, I mean, I've just been caught up in the swing of this whole NFT gaming boom, made massive amount of profits this just like last week and a half. And I'm almost just like, what's happening? Like, you know, just watching all this stuff. And so I'm curious, you guys, like, how do you guys feel about this latest, like, you know, crypto and NFT gaming boom? Do you guys think it's going to last? Like, how much longer can we continue on like this? Why don't we start with Sammy?
The whole thing confuses me. I really don't see the value in a lot of the. I think there is value in it, but there's not this much value. I think it's like It's due a retrace, but I just don't know if it will. Honestly, I've given up trying to predict the markets. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm surprised that it's doing so well, like because I only see people buying and flipping things. I don't see many people playing things every single. I would expect to see more people playing and enjoying things, but it's more just like the absolute volume of new projects is just.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous. But there's demand for it. There's clearly a demand for it.
yep.
Maybe it's just more people just saying to their friends, "Hey, look how much money I made last week." That is the easiest way to get people on board. So to me, long may it continue. You know, get all my bags up.
Yeah,
bags up. You mean you're taking your money out, or what do you mean by bags
when it
up?
gets up like this, you just flip and take it out. Use it to pay for stuff. Like I'm trying to buy an apartment at the moment. Like could need some more money for that. Like real life expenses. So you got to take at these times. You got to take some gains, even if it does go on more. Fair enough. Like I feel like the sensible thing to do is to take stock and be like, right, let's take some profits. Because if you don't, then when are you going to do it?
Yeah, it's a good argument. How about you, Mitch? What do you think? We're gonna, how do you feel about this latest, crypto NFT gaming boom? And can this go on? Do you think, like Sammy thinks, maybe now is not a good time to be all in? What are your thoughts?
I will admit that I have an incredibly biased and incredibly bullish outlook that is beyond reasonably optimistic. I think that we're still super, super early, and I think there's still a tidal wave coming. I don't know like when the market's going to shift and how that's going to impact NFTs, but having worked in the game industry long enough as I have, is that I know that games weather this economic storms differently than other things in the same sectors, even at the same time. Even before I moved into play to earn games, like when the market was down, when COVID was at its highest, games were making more money than ever. More people were staying home, playing more games, spending more money in games. Games defeat and sort of break the trends that normally exist. And how that translates into NFTs and play to earn games, I can't say for certain, but I do think that they potentially stand a chance to hold their weight a lot longer. I also think that we're about to see a huge boom on our own ecosystem just in Wax alone. If like two things worth noting this week alone, alongside the improvements to Atomic Hub that Sammy mentioned, where you can drill down further and get further search results. Nafty Blocks just launched their own independent marketplace system that allows collections to have their own storefronts where customers or NFT holders can sell NFTs directly on Nafty Blocks, buy and sell items for NFTs. So that's a new marketplace that our items and our NFTs can be sold on. In addition to that, Token Head is just about to roll out their new marketplace called Drop. It's like DRO with 3 Ps. And they have a credit card gateway as well. So you'll be able to actually sell things for credit card like this just is rolling out today. And in addition to that, as if it's not early enough, Hasbro just got verified on Wax. They are the fastest to get instantly verified, I think, in a while.
Oh, right.
They just got switched right on instantly. So they're coming in with some stuff that's going to be on Drop, I think, as well, because they own Token Head. So there's some very interesting things that are coming out. Like this, to me, we're still in the calm. The storm hasn't come yet. Like I agree, there's a lot of projects that are coming and things are swelling and there's a lot of momentum, but it isn't here yet. Like there's a lot more to come.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, because I didn't know a couple of those things. I had heard about Hasbro, like is in some kind of like someone said something about Hasbro and a big release coming, but I didn't know that they own an NFT marketplace coming out, and they have a partnership with Wax. So that's incredibly interesting, because it seems to me like we're talking about a cross-chain marketplace then.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. It wasn't Hasbro that bought Token Head. It was Funko that bought Token Head.
Oh, Funko.
Sorry,
okay.
I misspoke about that one. It's the other toy company. But the fact that now Funko is like, they're pretty well established already on Wax. They're doing a lot of things, and now Hasbro is coming into the space as well. I think is very, very exciting in the way in which like the toy space is starting to recognize the value of NFTs.
Yeah, and I think Hasbro, we were talking about in our Discord chat that Hasbro also has the rights to Magic the Gathering, and Magic the Gathering's already been revealed to be creating a blockchain-based version of their game. So, like, will that be on Wax? Like, I don't know. Like, I just like you, I'm super excited. I feel like you made another point before that one. What was it? The first point.
Oh, the Nifty Blocks Marketplace.
Oh, Nifty Blocks Marketplace. Yeah, I don't. And they have an interesting system where you can actually earn like liquidity mining for buying with their token, which is really interesting concept. I think if they could like make their marketing a little more clear about how that works, that could potentially be great.
I used to be really confused by it as well when it first rolled out. I've read the white paper and I didn't totally understand it.
Me neither.
And then I bought the Axie Chat Pass on Rarible for Q4, and I totally got it because this is the same system that exists on Rarible. So if you go to Rarible and you go read their system, they have the same kind of approach. And I think they've maybe drawn some inspirations from this since they did it a little bit longer ago. But the core concept is similar, where if you buy and sell items on the Rarible marketplace, you earn their rare token, which can be spent on other NFTs. But it's also a similar thing where there's like a weekly allotment that's distributed among sales. And what they did was they did a big old airdrop to people that had sort of bought and sold historically. And a lot of people just got airdropped like 50 grand worth of rare token, just like right in their wallet. Just here you go. Thanks for being on our platform. Like, it's pretty impressive, like what that did for a lot of people when they rolled that out.
Yeah, change people's lives. $50,000 in one day. I'm writing some of these down my phone because I'm like, I gotta research this later. You're like a gold mine information. Thank you, Mitch.
I try to be connected on a few things.
Wow. Yeah, so I kind of have the same feelings that Mitch has. I mean, I try to look at it both ways, right? Got to be cautiously optimistic, but so far, like the NFT gaming space has completely outperformed expectations, almost like 100-fold. Never imagined like we would be here right now, and the amount of profits I've been making off of these, the games, Galo nodes. I'm in a farmer's world now, and I keep looking at the profits, and yeah, I'm kind of like I'm not. Like, it seems like this shouldn't be sustainable, but when I look at it, the only thing that makes it seem like it would not be sustainable is if which is actually, here's potential danger here as I'm looking at this. And one of my thoughts was that one day, I believe we're going to have like major corporations like Microsoft, Google, they're going to buy up like millions of dollars of NFTs into systems that they believe in. And for Farmers World, that's actually my biggest fear, is like if like someone like a major person came in, put millions of dollars into buying, say, the chainsaws or whatever they are that give people like it's something like a 25% advantage at the top of the food chain in terms of income. But it's kind of like they can't, though, because I hated Farmers World. Like, I really did. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, I'm not going to click the stupid button like every 60 minutes. Like, I have like long times of focus. I cannot like break my focus every 60 minutes. It's not worth it. And I was like, this game is stupid. And it also had like basically the higher tier tools, I thought, earned too much. And now that I see the whole economy, it's like, okay, it's not too much, but now that I did the whole economy and what they're trying to build out, it makes way more sense to me now. So I look at it, I'm like, it seems like it might be unsustainable only because we've never seen anything quite like this. But I look at the math, I'm kind of like, but I think it is sustainable unless somehow someone got a hold of a massive amount of like chainsaws and the higher end tools very quickly, then we would be in trouble. But even now, if you wanted to get one of those tools, you have to overpay for it. Typically, you'll find someone want to come buy a chainsaw or something, and you got people like me who's sitting there like just waiting for them. I'm like, oh, you're going to go buy a chainsaw? It's okay, because I got a high sell order up here, and I'm just going to sell you, everything at like a 25% premium, and then wait for the price to go down again, and then I'll go buy more. So I'm like, to me, that makes sense. And I love what you're doing with Million on Mars, because you guys are putting the market order system. One of the reasons I've fallen in love with Farmers World is number one, because to me, it's not just like a farming simulator. It's actually like a marketing economy simulator. I've made just as many profits from like buying and selling inside of its economy as I have from just like using the tools. Because here I'm like, oh, I know that's a great price right now, and I think this price is going to be this later, or eventually people are going to like, I'm not going to give away my strategy right now, so I want to keep a little secret because everything's kind of small. But I'm playing these strategies, and I've been wrong, I think, at least once in the farmers market economy where I thought things were going to go. But otherwise, I've been generally pretty right. And I love how it's like this economic simulator that I can look at the moving pieces where the value is, how value is created, and judge where things are going to be. And so with Million on Mars, like I'm really looking forward to that too, that you guys are actually supporting the in-game system, because I'm seeing right now with Farmers World how powerful that is. Instead of just having the one token and the couple of NFTs, instead, when you have this entire economy, that creates opportunities for people to come in and take advantage of that, to use their fundamentals, understandings of economics or the demand, to essentially make profits and to accumulate more. I'm really in love with that stuff, and I think not only is it sustainable, I'm kind of with you, Mitch, that it's gonna keep growing and get bigger. And the reason I think is when you start to see, like, especially something like Farmers World tends to actually be sustainable as time goes on, that the more time that goes on, the more people are going to trust it, and the more that people trust it, the bigger it's going to get. And so I think they've made mistakes as well. We've had bugs. There's a bug where everyone's like, oh my gosh, and I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. Like, why can't I have nice blockchain games? All I want is a blockchain game that doesn't F it up, on launch day or something. And actually, Nova Rally, I think, went on without a hitch. It just, you guys had some API connection issues, but otherwise things worked. You just had to wait a little while. But so many blockchain games, like, they do some kind of big release and then it just like takes a big poop because something terrible, it happened with Our Planet, where suddenly nobody could craft anything. Everything was gone all of a sudden. And then just a huge amount of people exited. And I think that causes actually there to be more flippers on the market. So when it comes to what Sammy was saying, I do believe, you have to watch out for the flippers market, because they're out there where people are only intentionally there to flip. I don't know much about farming tells, but man, I because I don't know much about it, I'd be scared to even buy anything on there, because I'm like, is it just like a whole market of flippers right now? We're hoping that it's the next Farmers World. I don't like the artwork, but I've been wrong about projects before where I'm like, I don't like this, and later I'm like, I wish I'd stuck it in there just to see what happens. But I'm with you, Mitch, that I believe that we're just getting started with this. Like, if Sam was mentioning the user numbers, they are very low, but I think that's what just tells us how early we are, that we only have, it's like 47,000 users transacting on Farmers World. And that's not even the players. I think the players much lower than that. But Nova Rally, I think you guys also top 5, but you look at the number of players, it doesn't seem like a lot. We have over 1 billion gamers in the world. So I look at the potential, like, if we think that blockchain gaming is going to be big over the next couple of years, we're on a hell of a rocket ride for God knows how long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think the billion traditional gamers that you think of are the people that are going to be the first to adopt and move into the play to earn or blockchain game space. They're going to be the last.
Yeah, fair.
And I think that for the most part, the growth we're going to see in play to earn and blockchain games is going to come from non-traditional gamers. We're going to see a whole new wave of people who traditionally were not known as gamers before that become gamers, in the same way that we saw Facebook and social games in the late 2000s. Like early 2009 to 2011 start to boom as well. Like, the entire growth of games on Facebook that played Farmville and Mafia Wars, Candy Crush, and other games like that were all people that were called not real gamers, and they were told to be playing not real games as well. And those now are our most, like, that's the majority of gamers around the world. So to me, I think we're going to see I think all the growth that's going to happen is going to come from everyone else realizing that there's a way and a path to that play to earn offers that offers an alternative to people's existing lifestyles. And I think this is going to bring online a whole new entire cohort of new gaming audiences that have never been seen before, and people that could capture these markets, I think, stand to benefit the most. Yeah,
I think you make a great point there about how the gaming evolved to the point where it was all the non-gamers who ended up taking over the entire market, or ended up creating some of the biggest companies, or being some of the biggest consumers in games, were all the people who you didn't expect to play games. I remember going into work one day, and there's like this, I don't know how old she was. She was like maybe 49 years old or something, one of the managers of the company. And she's like, "Oh, do you play that Angry Birds?" I'm all like, "What?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I love Angry Birds." I'm like,
That's the typical gamer.
You're not
globally.
supposed to be playing that. You're 49 years old. You
Sure.
don't look like a gamer.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are you doing playing Angry Birds? But meanwhile, Angry Birds is making, bank off of, those players and those, like, just like you were saying, like the masses ended up adopting those those mobile games in a way that I never saw coming at all.
Yep. And that's why I feel so bullish about play to earn, about blockchain games, is the same things, the same criticisms, the same pushback, the same everything that everyone said about free to play games and social games a decade ago. They're saying the same things now about play to earn and blockchain games. And so it's deja vu for me. I hear the same, and I hear people in my industry also criticize play to earn games and blockchain games and just call them a fad and not call them real games, all these things. But like, the reality is that this isn't the case. Many of us and all of our communities believe very strongly in this tide that is coming. We believe very strongly in this notion of owning our own digital assets and actually having some degree of agency in the way that we do what we get to do with our own digital property. And I think that we almost feel like everyone else who hasn't come around to this notion is stuck living in the past because it seems so obvious to us at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way. We'll move on to the next topic unless Sammy, do you have any last thoughts on that particular topic? I didn't want to shut you out because I know we were kind of dominating the last couple of minutes of the conversation.
No, I think you make good points. I think more people are obviously going to come. It's just about how do you simplify that journey for them, and that if that's true about the on-ramp with that drop marketplace, that could be huge, because that's one of the key things that I'm trying to tackle at the moment. I still find it very difficult to get people to actually play my game. Like in terms of like the journey they have to go on to get there is long and winded, and most people, they don't want to go on it. They don't want to learn about this. They just want to click one button and start playing, and it's just like, well, how do you get to that?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. If we had like a marketplace that was like, Shopify made it really easy for people to create stores because like, I put up my product, you put in your credit card or your PayPal, bam, it's done. If we could get a platform that could make that, likely also have to have some kind of custodial system, but I think, that's probably what it looks like in the future in terms of like getting to the masses and onboarding people very easily so that they can then spend on, crypto games. So another topic, let's see. I think we already kind of covered this one, so I'm going to delete this particular question that I had. So just talking about like development stuff, as we're here and we're looking at, getting our staking live, I was looking at where we're at, and I'm like, realistically, probably actually staking's not going to happen at the end of this month for our project, but it's going to be beginning of next month, like hopefully in the first week of November. And so I was curious, like, how do you guys deal with like these long development times and people who are just learning some of the different blockchain systems, the tools that are available for us to do what we're doing? Do you guys just kind of say, okay, well, that's what it is, I'll check in with you in a couple of days, or do you guys are you constantly engaged with your team and like, hey, like come on, we got to get this out? Do you try to keep your team engaged? Like, how do you guys deal with these really long development times of blockchain games? I know some of us waited for a while for some systems. Our Planet robots, we've been talking about since March. How do you guys deal with this? Why don't we start with Sammy?
So I find that the most positive thing that you can do, a lot of us are working off. You start off with shoestring budgets. You don't have I never started with a lot of money. So you have to do things on a shoestring budget at first, which includes, you start off maybe with a contractor. So I started some initial proof of concept work for Nova Rally with a contractor. who I got to know very well, and I knew that he then ran a development company in Russia, which I began to use for Nova Rally. So we have an office in St. Petersburg that does the development for Nova Rally. And when things, but then also I have one of my friends, Izzy, who I knew from my community that did some of the stuff. So it was difficult, having them in different places. And one of the things I've that probably led to the delays is that not having that sort of team like in central in one place working together, whereas now they're all in one office. And what I find the most effective way to now speed up the development is to have them work together as a team better, and for me understand them better. And that, it's no good saying to them that we need it done by this date, we need it done by this date, we need it done by this date, and pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. The best thing I like to do is try and manage them how I would manage a team of people that worked for my actual job. So we have days now where they get to work on their own ideas for Nova Rally. So every second Friday we do that. I try and do more meetings with them ahead of time, because of a part of the reason why with some of the delays is that when you're a project developer, you know your game very well. And some of the ideas you forget are only in your head, and you've not explained them well enough to the developers. So I found like getting the developers to play the game and just say, listen, guys, I don't want you to develop anything today. I want you to play the game. Just today, play the game, right? And what you get out of that, suddenly the next day, a list of things I've not even asked for had been improved about the game, because they were frustrated with some aspects and they go and do it. So it's hard, especially when you're using contract. But now it's not really contractors anymore for me. Is I have my own office in St. Petersburg, and they are a team, and they're part of Nova Rally, and they feel they have the incentive, and they are getting more and more, and they understand the game and they love the game. Whereas like a lot of these projects start off with contractors, and contractors are there to do a job, right? So it's about eventually, if you can get the budget is developing and getting your own team in place that truly understand the game. You might be very lucky. You might have a developer that sat there that knows everything about the game, loves the game, plays it every day, and it also is amazing at smart contract development. But if you've got that, fantastic. But otherwise, you've got to create that team. You've got to create that team spirit. And I've definitely noticed a huge improvement since I started doing things like that. And I think if I just started doing that earlier, I wouldn't have had as many delays. So it is a challenge, but as you get more into the project, then it's one of the things that you can look to resolve is nail people down into their roles and get them to say, hey, play the game, understand the game.
And so Isaac is now in Saint was it Petersburg with your other developer now?
No, I couldn't afford to pay him. Basically, he's that good. I couldn't afford to pay him all the time. He's got his own job and his own family. But I use him for consulting now. And then I find it a lot better because of it gets confusing for the development team in St. Petersburg if we're constantly chopping and changing. So what I do is I get all the stuff now, and it's now handed over, and it's all handed in St. Petersburg. And I just find having that hub, an actual office, they're in an office having a great time every day. Like, it's so much better. Like, I want to go and visit them because they are really now, they're so excited. And they're all in one place. They're like discussing ideas about the game over like lunch and stuff. And like, it's a lot better environment. And it's just sort of all falling into place like that.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you're a great team leader and you have a lot of experience with that. And that's helping with the way that you've evolved the way that the development of Nova Rally happens.
Yeah, I think that was my advice to anyone is you might use the funds you get from the first sale to build the minimal viable product, especially if you're new. It's different. You guys, it might be more, I think you guys have got better heads on your shoulders, but I see a lot of new projects spring up and they get all that money and then they're just going to pay contractors to do it. And it's that will only get you so far. You need to think about, right, build the team. It's okay to do it for the first few phases, but think, right, how are we going to do this long term? If we're going to be around for the next couple of years, we need a team working on it, and you need to incentivize them. You can only get so far. There's only so many developers anyway. I like Valera from Nova Rally. He does smart contract consulting work and development work for other projects. I know he does, because I said to him, why not? If you've got time available, then go and do it. There's only so many people out there. So I know for a fact that he works on other projects and he gains that experience. But again, it's just about managing the team.
Right. Yeah. You kind of like got a sense of like how we're actually doing things. We do have contractors in Brazil, and they are the ones who are creating for us. And I do run into those. I do run into those issues that you're talking about. So I am looking at what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm checking something real quick here. That's weird. I have to leave everybody hanging. I do run into that issue where I'm like, our progress has gone a little bit slower than I wanted, and I'm kind of identifying these, mistakes that we've made along the way. This is my first startup company. It's not the first time I've developed a video game. It's not the first time I've led anything before, but it's the first time I've ever been in this situation with blockchain, with remote officing quite in the way that we're doing it, and needing such a specialized skill set like blockchain, like writing blockchain. So we found a developer in Brazil who had experience doing it. They had a full stack development team, so they could do the front end, they could do the back end. And then immediately after we hired them, the guy responsible for essentially getting us to, essentially selling us on the company, he got COVID, so he got sick. And so it was like trying to communicate through a straw with him every once in a while. And it's like, okay, well, he's like, they're working, showing us the work. And then it's like, okay, but like, we're supposed to pay you sometime, right? How is the contract, all that stuff. And just like, I remember we got our contract way after they had already started development. So they were already doing all this stuff. And I'm all like,
it's a lot of faith, a lot of trust.
Yeah, it's a lot of faith that you guys are going to, we're going to pay you all this money, when we're going to pay, because you guys don't even have everything together yet. But, and then just other drama, apparently the guy who sold us on the company, apparently he had a falling out with the CEO. So I had to call the CEO and figure out what was going on with the company. And wow. They were producing the work, right? And I have our next meeting with blockchain development this Wednesday. But, I'm kind of finding how do we do this go forward? I kind of have a plan for how we're going to do things going forward, but these are, thank you so much for, your thoughts on this, Sammy, because this is some of the stuff I deal with every day. It's like, well, we're producing this much, results, but I'd rather have us be producing this many results with our, what we're paying. So, so this is stuff I think about, almost every day. How do we get there? What the plan's going to be? So I think, so your thoughts really helped me out a lot, Sam. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Mitch, I'm just curious, what's the setup in terms of your development? Because I've got a feeling I'm going to be very jealous of you, because I feel like you're going to have it all and you're all going to be on the same page together. Whereas
yeah, I mean, so it's a challenging comparison, because we're an established game studio that has been making a game together as a team for almost a year before we had even started working on the play to earn side of things. And what we're building on the play to earn side is very, very clearly scoped, very, very clearly defined. We set out very with very strong intent behind the design that we're building, and we're not sort of figuring it out as we go for the most part. And that's allowed us to really execute really, really efficiently. And we're very, very big internally on sort of just a lot of project management, a lot of process, and a lot of things that just should ensure that our project is well scoped, well defined, and well scheduled, so that we can meet our deadlines and sort of release on target. But a lot of that just comes from having a big team. Like we're not a small team by any stretch compared to like a project that might have 1 or 2 people. Like we've got, I would say, close to a dozen people across all of our efforts, and that's not including external people. You know, we've used external resources for art. We've used other sort of consultants for other things as needed. So we're no strangers to those sort of needs. But at the core is a team that is full time, that is there, committed to building something all the way to the end. And I think that foundation allows us to have a lot of confidence and a lot of faith in what we're trying to deliver.
I mean, that's the main reason I bought in with the founders token, because like I see a lot of what happens behind the scenes with every single Wax project. I know most developers of every Wax project. Like I know who's doing the smart contract development. I'm pretty sure I know almost all of them now. And then I know how things are operated. And as a customer, it puts me off, because then I know like, oh, some people maybe are really just making it up as they go along, right? And doing it badly. Like, so that's one of the things that gives me a lot of faith in you guys, because you have that development experience. And that's definitely something that I wish that I would establish much, much earlier, is an actual team, an actual office, and them all together. And now I feel a lot happier. Like it's night and day the difference. So
for sure.
I would, but it's a means to like an end. You've got to start somewhere. If you've just got an idea that's a good idea and a design which is a good design, then if you want to do it the right way, if you don't know these people, if you didn't know these people and had experience working with them, how much would it cost you to hire them? Oh, it's got to be a pretty penny.
Oh, it's insane.
Mitch?
Yeah. The cost and the scope would be significant without a doubt for high caliber professional people to work full time. It's a lot, especially if you have benefits and other things. Like, I mean, we're a legit company, so we have all of those things that are part of our overhead on top of our development costs.
Yes. So
it's a lot of effort.
Your fortune, absolute fortune to pay the day rate for all those people in your team's experience. That would be a hefty budget, right? And you'd have to sell God knows how many boxes of stuff on Wax to pay that budget. So that's where that gives me a faith around projects like this. I can clearly see. Whereas, like, I can tell people from experience, like, once you've seen behind the scenes of some projects, you think, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that's that very cliche phrase, right? Is like most people like don't want to know how the sausage is made. They just want to know that it tastes good, because like the actual process of making games is not as fun as it sounds. It's not just like sitting around playing video games all day or coming up with cool ideas and people just manifest them and they just magically appear in the game. Like, it's painstaking work that takes a lot of coordination and a lot of horse trading of priorities and needs and other factors. And it's ensuring that everyone is as happy as they can be with what we're trying to build towards, and ensuring that at the end of the day, the players and the customers that actually are the ones that are responsible for your success are the ones that are benefiting the most at the end of the day.
I'm jealous of Mitch. I don't know what else to say.
I'm jealous.
You guys are too kind.
Well, you've done the work, right, Mitch? I mean, it didn't come to you easy. Like, you had your career, and now you're taking advantage of the experience and the resources that you've created over that time.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have a long career in this space and to be able to sort of leverage that expertise as I move into here, or move into play to earn and blockchain games. I think we're going to see more and more professionals in the game industry making the leap. I think more people in my space are starting to talk about things in a way that isn't misinformed. They're actually paying attention. There's the traction is there, certainly. And I think that I'm seeing that, as more companies like Blankos come online that are well funded, that have a big, long pedigree of professionals in the industry that are stacking their roster in addition to the other sort of market sectors that they're targeting, like artists and streetwear and sort of this sort of hype space of limited edition items. I think that they're really trying to capitalize on that market in a really smart way.
Yeah, just to list off some of the big news this week, Coinbase announced that they're going to have an NFT trading platform. I don't know the details. Like, is it cross-chain? Is it I don't know any of that
It's
stuff.
Ethereum mainnet to start with, is my understanding. But in
Cool.
like the first few days of pre-reg, they had more people sign up than there are total users on OpenSea. Like significantly
No way.
multiples. Yes, there are like over 1 million people that signed up for the Coinbase NFT marketplace. So it's showing where the real opportunity. There's a huge demand, and I think it's more often than not, it's just about people not knowing that you even exist. It's just getting the word out is the most important thing, and making it accessible as possible. I mean, that's what Sammy was talking about earlier as well. That like reducing the friction, making things as accessible and as easy as possible, where it's use a credit card, click 2 buttons and you're in, like at the most, or it's nothing to get in the door. It's free or virtually free if you get a referral, and then it's a couple clicks, you're in the game, you're able to play, and then you can make a decision. I mean, that's, to me, the key to success is to reduce the barrier to entry as low as possible, so that people can really understand what you're making and believe in it. And whatever you have to do to facilitate that should be your earliest priority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great point. Just have people be able to just click a button and get something and be like, oh, I own a digital asset now and I can send it to anybody I want, resell it. I mean, I know I love that. The other big piece of news was that Steam decided that it's not going to carry blockchain games. So now everybody, which was I think quite a number of games, are starting to show up that were going to be on Steam. And then I think just a couple of minutes later, or hours later or something, Epic Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, said, we'll take your beaten, you're broken, and you're damned. Basically, Epic Sweeney said, hey, we support, blockchain games. Come over to our platform as long as you are compliant. We'd love to have your games, basically. So that was super interesting.
Sure.
Freaking couple of days.
They're going to take the easy dunk on Valve, right? That's the no-brainer that they could just say, sure, you can come to our platform. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to give a big thumbs up to all the blockchain player games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not that there was a lot already to begin with on Steam, and most people that are in the space saw these moves coming a while ago. Like, this isn't really a big shock to anyone in the game industry side. Like, we watched what they did with Mir 4. They kicked them off. Like, they sort of semi-kicked them off and prevented them from having their ability to mint Draco from Darksteel, which was really, really sort of taking off. That game's got a few million players now across multiple platforms. It has a really healthy play to earn growth, and they're taking off in a whole different way. I think they're going to give games like Genshin and WoW a run for their money in the next 6 months.
I need to look up Mir 4 because
mir4global.com, MIR the number 4 global.com. I have no affiliation. I'm just a player. Me and a lot of friends play that game almost every day, and it's really fun.
What kind of game is it?
It's an MMO that has a play to earn component to it as well at the end.
Well, I haven't even looked at that one yet. They're probably not going to take all of them. And Dust was also wasn't it Dust is the name of that game, or some game like that? It's basically like a crafting survival game. Rust, yes, that's a one letter difference. You're right. It is Rust, but I guess they're kicking Rust off their platform too. That's one of the bigger ones.
I hadn't heard about that. That would be really interesting. I haven't really seen the fallout of what their decisions are since they made that announcement.
Interesting. Really, really interesting stuff there. Wow. Yeah, it's been crazy last week with all this stuff going on. I have a question for you, Mitch. I had a user, I think it was Fuzzy.
Age of Rust. It was Age of Rust that they kicked
Age
off.
of Rust.
Yeah. Because Rust is the sandbox crafting MMO. That one has no play to earn blockchain, but Age of Rust uses the engine ecosystem, and it did have a blockchain NFT component attached to it. So that would make sense that they would kick off Age of Rust. Right.
Yeah. Age of Rust is, that one just might be going on its own after this for now. And let's see. The other question I had was, so this was from Crypto Space Commander, who's a community member of ours. And he had a question for you, Mitch, which was, he wants to know you can only disclose what you can disclose right now, right? But he wants to know, what is the launch date for Million on Mars? And can you give like a ballpark figure for how much lands will sell for?
Sure, yeah. So we're targeting next month. We're saying early November. It's likely looking at Mid-November is the probable real ship date. We don't have a definitive date, but we're targeting that. Our main goal is to finish our pre-release launch list of features that we want to ship before we go live. So if those take a little bit longer, our date will go out, because we cannot go live until the core components of the economy are in place, and then we have the nice fat reset at the end. So once those features and systems are very close to being done, we'll have a much more crystallized sense of like, this is definitely going to be when we're looking to release, and then we'll have an official announced date. But we're still looking really, really good towards that target of about a little less than a month from now, or around a month from now, I would say.
All right, cool.
And then costs for our stuff, land packs are $100, blueprint packs are $40. Supply crates are going to be about $10 or $20. We're still figuring out the exact contents of the supply crates. That's the last thing that we're sort of figuring out.
And a little quick for me, how much for land?
$100 for a pack of land, which comes with a land deed and 5 common blueprint NFTs. And those and that land deed, then you can just redeem for any plot of land that's available in the game.
And those are in infinite supply or limited?
We have a limited supply. So we're starting out with about 20,000 plots to begin with in sort of the first 3 months of this year. And then for all of next year, we're allocating about another like 40 to 60,000. But it's really dependent on growth and need of the market. We're not trying to sort of hard commit on any kind of specific limits on what we're doing, because there's a lot of space to go around on Mars. We're going to build a lot of experiences beyond just Land Rush. So the game can support and grow to as many players as really the market wants to afford to. Our goal is to look at land utilization as a means to determining when we're going to offer more lands for sale. So if players are actively buying, developing, and building on their lands and removing the amount of available undeveloped land that's available in the marketplace, then we're going to sell more. If players are not developing their land, if they're just, buying it and trying to flip it, or they're not actively like growing the economy in the way that we think it's necessary, then we'll add more supply into the market. It's really just and then by means of sales. But there's also going to be ways to earn land by playing the game as well, not just having to buy it. So we do want to introduce means to play to earn land over time as the game continues to grow.
Yeah, it's inside the game right now. In your beta version, you can buy land if you have enough dusk. It's a lot of dusk, and I'm guessing, is that going to be the feature going to be the same way when you guys launch? Do you guys plan to change that feature? Is it going to be like?
Yeah, when we go live, we probably won't have a direct purchase for dusk right out of the gate. I would love to be able to make that available in the future for players to have a way to buy. A percentage of ours, when we do land sales, basically have a percentage that are available to be purchased with dusk instead of wax or other tokens. It's just a matter of how the game grows and what the needs are. We want to make a lot of different things available to players, but if we only do things for dusk, we would limit the amount. It's possible that we might not be able to sort of have enough available for everything. So we want to sort of figure out the right balance that allows the business to grow, but also makes things available for everybody.
So there were 2 topics there. Wasn't clear to me. One, you will be able to buy dusk for essentially wax, exchange like wax for dusk, or yes or no, or
eventually,
but from players or from you guys.
Eventually we don't own dusk. We don't sell it directly. Our goal is for that to function as an inflationary utility token for the game itself. Players earn it by playing the game and by participating within the game economy. Eventually, we will have a phase shortly after launch where we airdrop everyone's balances to their wallets. We roll out a tokenized withdrawal gateway so that everything else after that has a time locked every 2 weeks or something you can withdraw. But our goal there is to allow it to be a token you can have in your wallet. And you can do whatever you want with it. We're not going to set a price. The market's going to determine whatever they want to do with dusk accordingly.
All right, and you will be able to buy land with dusk in
eventually.
Okay.
I would say eventually. It won't be at launch. It's something that we'd like to be able to support post-launch. It's just a matter of when it fits into our roadmap and how the growth of the game is.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Kind of wait and see what the best approach is. Gosh, what is my other question about all that? But it seems like kind of the point of the game is to want to expand your lands and to expand your your production line. So that's kind of a big incentive for the game. The other one was it the trading utility token? Oh, are you guys going to hold like an IDO or something like that? It seems like you said that you can only get Dusk from playing the game. That's
correct. Yeah, we're not going to do any kind of token offering or sale for Dusk. There's no intention of that. We're resetting the economy before the game launches, so anything that's been earned prior to that is going to be reset. There is no the biggest advantage you get by playing the game early is information and knowing and basically consequence-free mistakes. So if you place buildings down, you need to destroy them, you buy the wrong things, you optimize in the wrong way, you learn everything now because nothing is permanent. It's a really good time to be playing the game right now. You get to ask a lot of questions and sort of figure things out. And then when we're live, you have the benefit of already knowing what you think the optimized strategies to play the game are. And I think it gives a real advantage for everyone else.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I think I like how you guys are very game focused. Where there are a lot of other games like Farmers World, who's like, oh, well, now we've made like $4 million, $5 million in sales in the last 2 weeks, and we're going to launch an IDO and then get like a massive token. And I mean, I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I like that you guys are very game focused.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's never changing. We're very, very focused on building a very deep and rich game that will stand the test of time for a long time.
Can't wait to start building up my little Mars empire then.
Me too. I am just as excited for sure.
Oh man. Yes, I think we've kind of left Sammy out of the conversation for the last couple of minutes.
No,
I guess we'll kind of start to close out because we've been streaming, I think, for just over an hour now. But I do want to know just a little bit more about like what's coming for Nova Rally. Sammy, are you able to talk about like some of the most the features that are going to be released that you have looked forward to the most? Are you able to talk about that at all?
Yeah. I can't say too much because I've got an update coming, but the essentially like Nova Rally at the moment is a very simple game. You stick them in the cards, you see the result, right? Some people like it, some people say it's boring, and what I want to get to is the most exciting thing. So it's the idea of a racetrack, right? So we're going to have eventually racetracks in the game. I'm not going to sell them for money. They're going to be purchased with in-game tokens, and you can buy individual pieces of them. And the way that the new racing system in Season 2 works is it considers each component of the racetrack as an individual entity with characteristics. And then you have an event log of every single thing that happened in the race. So if you could spin on a particular corner and you know exactly why, it makes it easy to animate it, which is the direction that we're heading in. So we want to get towards a full animated race. And a lot of this content update is explaining how do we get there. And then also there's this new game mode that I've not announced yet, which I believe is a new solution to, we always talk about, we don't want it to be the economy to based on, Ponzi economics. So this is my solution to Ponzi economics. This is, I think by making it a game mode like this, where everyone can be involved, that it will be so much fun that people will want to put money into this aspect of the game, and that will stimulate the economy. So it's a pretty bold approach, and it may not work, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. So I'm going to be announcing it this week and explaining how it all works. And that's the main thing is the idea of something that goes beyond the game. And I've taken inspiration from some of my favorite games and some of the stuff that I'm really interested in at the moment. And I think, right, how do we go beyond what's currently just being done on blockchain games at the moment? And so it's pretty bold. We'll see how it goes. But essentially, I'm going to be changing it so that players get rewarded for every race, because right now it feels like when you race, you don't win. It sucks. Doesn't feel like you're progressing because you only win it one every 8 times. So there's a whole system regarding so that you feel like you're progressing. And overall, I think some economy changes. So maybe encouraging people to reduce the number of assets in play. We're getting rid of the shard system. I don't think the shard system worked for us. So
I spend a lot of time clicking to to get the shards, and I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I?
It's my least favorite aspect of my own game. I stopped opening the shards after a week. They just clutter up my inventory. I mean, it's literally we've created blockchain garbage. Like, there's no way around it. We've littered the blockchain with our filth. Like, so I'm like, right, okay, well, the economy, not the economy, the environment ministers will be on to me. I've got to clean up the blockchain. So we've got a scheme to reward people for handing those shards back in, kind of like picking up glass bottles that you're done with drinking. You can return your shards to us, and we apologize for our mistake.
Return your dead tokens.
But it's all, then it's like, okay, well, why would we want to do this? And offering the benefit to the player. And then the other main change is we're going to be selling these renting licenses in about 12 days time. And the thing is with the Atomic Hub restrictions on being able to ban transferring of assets, I've come to the conclusion that the best thing I can do is to make the scholarship system so good and a better way of making money than multi-accounting. So we're investing heavily in our own car rental system and scholarship system. So that's all done. You don't need to manage like 50 scholars. You just send your cars through an account and it will do all of this for you. And it will make you more money than multi-accounting. That is the goal. Like, because you'll be able to do it more efficient than multi-accounters. And then, therefore, everyone is doing it within the game. And I think that that's a much better option than saying to people, hey, we're going to ban you. Because to be honest, it's difficult to ban people. I said that the way that I wanted to ban people, not allowed to do that way. So we'd have to code another way where we prevent people from racing, and we keep a track of all the assets. But then we've got to constantly look at, okay, well, which accounts are those accounts linked to, and which accounts those accounts linked to. Best thing to do, make it more profitable for the player to play without multi-accounting. So I'm going to make it easier, just like similar to how Spotify made it easier. Going to make it easier to just rent all your stuff out that you don't use, and it's more efficient than multi-accounting. So that is one of the main things, I think, where I'm just like, this make a lot more sense than saying I'm going to ban everyone, because I can't ban it. I don't have the resources. I'll just hold my hands up and say, I don't have the resources. I'm not Alien Worlds. I don't have all these fancy algorithms, nor do I want to spend my development time doing it, because it's development time you could be spending on fun features. So this is my solution to multi-accounting. And I think by providing this license that people will be like, do you know what? I'd rather just use the renting license and have a nice UI, stump all my stuff into an account, and it manages it for me.
Yeah, I love that idea. I don't know exactly what you guys are doing, because this is actually the first time I'm hearing of how you're doing the scholarship system. But just like in my mind, I'm like, in the perfect system, I'd be able to let other people race the cars, take the time to set up drivers or whatever, and then even give them this have like a snake oil gas tank where I could put in how much snake oil I'm willing to invest, and let other people do the clicking and let them do the racing. And then so I could have my characters racing all the time, consuming the oil, doing the racing, and then I could just basically be here like a racing mogul, letting the players do it. For me, like that's the dream. And I don't know if that's what you guys are doing, but I like that idea of like as much snake oil as I got. I'd love to get my cars racing. I think that, and getting some kind of rewards for that, like that'd be cool.
Yeah, and this new rental system plays into the new features of the game that I'm going to be announcing. So it all sort of makes sense, and you're kind of like, this is why I would want to do the renting, and it's a very good source of income for these reasons. So, but again, it's just I just listen to the feedback of the users. They know better than me. They love the game. There's people that don't like the game that have told me why they don't play the game. I listen to them too, and it's just about getting to a point where it's like, right, there's very little people can say about the game now where it's like that it's not a good game and it's not fun, and and that's where I'm getting to, and it's a long road, because to do all that stuff I've described, that's going to take another load of development time. But we have a pretty stable game at the moment with some changes to how the economy works. I think it will stay stable, and then we've got time on our hands to really make the best game possible. And I think people are not going to want to. This game is not really going to take off to the moon until people can see the visual races. I think that is the allure. Imagine seeing everything that happened in the race. That would be very addictive.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
So I'm very excited for that. I've got a lot of writing up to do, which is
me too. Being excited, but it seems like you have like a deeper vision than I was, that I had seen of it so far. Like I'd kind of heard about the racetracks, but I didn't realize that, like, you kind of have this vision for the racetracks plus a rental scholarship system, plus visuals of seeing what happened in the races. Like I didn't realize that you kind of had this, that deep of a vision for where things are going. And you're here early as one of the most playable games on Wax. There's not many. It's like literally, I could probably count off 5 on top of my hand. I think there might be another 5 and another 5 that, are more obscure. But in terms of like, playable ones that are, really functioning and people play, I think Nova Rally is like where you guys are top 5 or something on Wax.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are good, but then they're not as good as I'd like them to be. So I'm just like, all I'm focused on is how do I get more people interested in my game? So it needs to be easier to get on board and start playing, and it needs to be more appealing, in my opinion. So these are the steps that I want to take. But I always say that we want to be the number 1 blockchain game, and I'm not joking about it. The team is all. This is the goal. And I think it's a pretty bold move. This new game mode will, I think, if people get interested and involved with it, I think it will show people the possibility of a blockchain game, of taking different approaches, because everyone does the safe approach at the moment of, right, just get more, get stuff
race
to get more stuff.
Race MTV.
Well, no, I just mean in general, blockchain games, you get stuff to get more stuff, to get more stuff, to get more stuff, to get more stuff, to get more stuff.
They're accumulating. Yeah.
But Sammy, how do you sink those items out of the economy? What do you do when you have this pile of things that everyone else has piles of? Doesn't that mean that everyone's pile is worth nothing?
Well, so I'm just taking a whole different approach to it, in that what generates revenue is fun, right? So this is the new way of thinking that I've got, is that if I've got something that's so crazy and fun, then people are going to be like, I want to be involved in this. I want more of this. And it's not going to matter, okay, well, what generates me the most X per minute and what have you. It's the game will be so enjoyable that it'll have a strong economy because everyone wants to be involved in it. And that it's a different approach. It's a riskier approach, in my opinion, because I could do this and then no one could be interested. And then I'm like, right, well, now what? But I would rather do it this way. And it's something I've been thinking about doing for a long time. And I'll be finally happy to announce the thing so people can stop being like, well, what is it on the stream and stuff? Because it's annoying when you hear that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. And Mitch seems to like have ideas about, like, he knows what you're talking. He's like, I know. I'm
you
like,
see the light.
I don't think I know.
That's the goal.
I feel like Sammy's gonna allow everyone to trade snake oil for, like, booze and drugs. Like,
no, Sammy hit it right on the head.
Hated fun,
No, if people are having fun, they don't think as much about how much money they're spending at the time. That's literally the reason why free-to-play games are so successful, is because they're low friction. You have fun, and when you start spending, you don't even realize it. You're like, I'm still having fun. I'm just going to keep hitting that button. I'm going to keep pushing that coin in the token, or put the token in the machine, right? I mean, this has been the same for 50 years since arcades have been in the 70s. But I think that I completely agree with your philosophy, though, Sammy. I think that that's the right approach. If you focus on engaging people with the fun factor first and ensuring that that's what is keeping people coming back, and gauging your success on like how much fun people are coming back for, you're on the right path.
Yeah, but it's certainly it's going to be a long one.
Yeah, well,
that's
that's
to that
okay.
stage.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, you're committed to it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I can tell that you're committed to making, Nova Rally #1 blockchain game and make it a lot of fun. And I'm here for the ride. There are two things I wanted to. There were users making comments. One was NRFB Toy Store, who's actually one of the biggest people on Wax. I think he was one of the early people who was on Wax, and he was trying to tell me about it. But he says that Nova was something that he didn't play, and he feels like he got left out. And I just want to say, hey, NRFB, like, the prices for Nova Rally has been dropping for a while. So
yeah, it's very cheap.
And yeah, for right now it's cheap for what it's been. I think that the packs, I think almost like 5 to 10x after launch, but now they're kind of more back to the original levels, I think, but at least more than they've ever been before. And I think it's probably just because what Sammy's saying is like a lot of people like to flip on Wax, and and the game hasn't been all that flippable. So I think people have just been leaving. I still think there is fun. Nova Rally is still fun. I think I'd have to do too much clicking right now to do what I want to do. But you and I've already talked about that, and I sent you that interface. Basically my ideal interface, what it looks like, so I don't have to click so much. Another user said, Rax asked, so how much are racetrack pieces going to cost? He wants to know. Everybody wants to know.
They ask me that all of my stream. I'm not,
yeah?
saying, because it affects the economy massively. So I have to do 24-hour announcement before I put the article out and say, this is coming. Changes are coming. This may affect the prices of the tokens and the assets, and warn people, because
I think that's
it's
fair.
pretty big change.
I mean, you've said it's probably going to be like in Snake Oil, or Snake Oil is at least going to be a part of the cost. So people know that much already.
It's going to be. I just keep saying the same thing. It's going to be expensive in Snake Oil. So
quick buy all the Snake Oil, Rax says. NRFB says, damn flippers. Yeah, I don't know if NRFB Toy Store really flips all that much. I think he likes to accumulate. But yeah, all right. Well, thanks for joining us, NRFB Toy Store and everyone. So why don't we go ahead and shut down the stream for now before we do that? Is there anything else you guys want to share? I know, Mitch, you guys, besides the Metaglyph thing, I think you said you might have also had more announcements. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, we have a drop campaign that's coming up. I'm hoping Wednesday. Hopefully sooner if I can make it happen. But we have a lot of processes we have to follow, so I don't want to overcommit. But our goal for this campaign is to allow you to just get free stuff that will be redeemable in the game when we're at launch. So you'll be able to sort of get some early resources and sort of in the form of NFTs. That's what we're aiming for. But things can happen. So we'll don't hold me to it until we're live, until we've actually announced it. That's usually what I try to stick with, is only announcing things as much as I can that we're committed on.
And it sounds like people who can get on this drop that you guys are about to announce can get like an early advantage if they participate.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you don't want to miss this. These are going to be resources that matter in the game. A lot of people are going to want them when we're live. So they will have value, and people will be able to start to trade them on the marketplace a little bit ahead of time, just a little bit. We're doing a small little drip of some of our resources to sort of just get things rolling and feeling a little bit more fun as we get closer to our launch next month. For anyone that wants to check out the game, I'm happy to mint you an access badge. Come to milliononmars.com/discord. Just say hi to me. I'm happy. Just tell me your Wax ID, and we'll get you settled up.
Nice. And links to all three of our projects are at the bottom of this video. How about you, Sam? Any last words? Anything you want to say to everybody before we head out?
Just if you're interested and you've not checked out Nova Rally before, we will be doing the renting license sale on the 30th of October, as I announced today on the stream. I have more information coming out this week, so it's a nice chance for you to get involved in the game. Maybe even it's just a hedge if you think that Nova Rally has a lot of potential. You don't have time to play, get some passive income from owning the license. So I'm going to have lots of information about it. So 30th of October, got a busy time to get that all set up in a short space of time. But yeah, check it out. Follow the Nova Rally announcements on Discord and Twitter. And look out for us on the Atomic Hub homepage on the 30th of October. Nice.
I'm super excited. Well, thank you both for joining me, Sammy and Mitch. Yeah, like I find these conversations they're so valuable to me, and I really love the work that you guys are doing and the value that you're providing for everybody. As long as the team's legit, I feel like anybody in blockchain gaming right now and developers, you guys are providing so much value for people with what you're building. And, I know the kind of work it takes. I mean, maybe fraction of the work because I'm the least along as when it comes to the two of you, but I know the amount of work it takes to build something like this, and it doesn't come easy, and it doesn't get handed to you, and you really have to create something that hasn't existed before. So I really appreciate you guys joining me on stream and sharing yourselves with myself and the audience here come to watch. So thank you guys so much, and thank you everybody for watching the stream, and we'll catch you the next time.
Definitely.
Thanks, everyone. See you later.